Hello, and welcome to our review of the latest episode of Doctor Who, which was Knock Knock.
Who's that? No, fuck it.
Doctor.
I called that.
Everyone's been calling that joke for weeks.
No. They hear something in the house and it's the Doctor in the cupboard.
Oh, that bit, yes.
My mum called that.
I thought that was obvious. I think it's going to be the Doctor, of course. I thought it was either the Doctor or the landlord. So, we'll start off with my thoughts. I rather liked this week. I thought it was a very nice, good episode. I think I had the right balance of scare to it, because it had a good scary situation, as next week's looks to be as well when we eventually get there. You need to sort of have a locked-in environment, sense of trapped. If you have if you have a plot narrative where it's sort of world expansive, you can run anywhere, it's not quite as scary. If you're trapped in a locked room, the ice cream's setting in.
Well, I want to be locked in a trapped room.
Locked in a trapped room. It suddenly becomes very scary, because obviously you have nowhere to escape. That's an obvious nature of the threat, particularly when it's an unseen threat that you don't quite understand. So the very premise of it works well from a narrative, the idea of the house itself. It's also nice to see it's a haunted house story as well, which they've done a couple times with Doctor Who, and generally I think they were always those have been quite good ones. Matt Smith had one, didn't he, which was sort of a haunted house. Do you remember that one?
Was that the one with the hotel rooms?
That's another good one. That's a haunted house
different one.
I'm thinking of the one that was a Clara episode. Sort of the monsters. And it had a weird sort of ending. It's not a ghost story. It's a love story. The forest, being transported sort of to a weird foresty place. You had, I can't think of who it was. The idea of ghosts through time.
No, that's like I
don't know. Never mind then. Ghost stories and haunted houses are always quite good, effective stories, because they're nice and they're simple. Something weird's happening into the house, and you can't leave the house. You're trapped, so you have to solve it. It raises the stakes. There's a sense of threat and an impetus to do things. I like that element to it. I thought it certainly had the scares for it. I really like David Suchet in it.
Yes, he was wonderfully creepy.
He was beautifully creepy, and I liked kind of the twists at the end when you reveal when it's revealed who he actually is. Because it's completely watching it, thinking it's a father doing everything to save his daughter. You can understand it. You can empathise with it. Completely understand it. Suddenly, though, when you get the revelation of it's not a father looking after a daughter, it's a son looking after his mum, that just pulled at my heartstrings. I felt very sad suddenly. I felt very emotional. I still am, thinking about it. I'm a mummy's boy, that's probably why.
Most sons closer to their mothers.
And vice versa.
Yeah. Which, if you want to get Freudian on this, and why?
Oh, Freud's been discredited by modern psychology for years.
It's still fun to read into things.
It is, but a lot of the time there's no accuracy in terms of what it actually means. Anyway, no, I like that. I like what they did with David Suchet's character as well. This whole thing of do anything, and it's true. I mean, we've had it even in Doctor Who. It says what little boy wouldn't go to the ends of the world to save their mum. And they're right a lot of the time. It's a very easy story to play with. And it's sort of the mum having to take charge. But he was, at the very end of it, he was a little boy still. Sort of crying with his mum that he doesn't want it to go, doesn't want it to end. Which was rather sad, I thought. Beautifully done. Because you realise the villain's not really a villain in the traditional sense. He's sort of a victim of circumstance a little bit. Doesn't forgive necessarily the horrible things he did and that he caused.
Yeah, teenagers in a horror film, they're always expendable.
I'll bear that in mind with you.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by the ending.
No, I'm definitely calling it's the Master now.
I think it's John Sims' Master, though.
I think it's John Sims. Well, it can't be... What last happened to Missy last time you saw her?
She was trapped on Gallifrey.
So yeah.
No, not Gallifrey. New Scaro.
New Scar.
I think that's what it was. I think it was New Scaro.
50% more Daleks.
It was the first episode of the last one. The episodes were the episodes were Davros. What was it? The Witch's Apprentice or something like that. That one.
I vaguely remember.
That's the last time we saw her. I think. I think it's Johnson's master. It was an interesting relationship there. I also think it must be Gallifreyan as well, because for the first time I've been able to see the panel a little bit clearly. And that looks like it's Gallifreyan text on it. It's Gallifreyan symbols. Which would suggest to me it must be the master. And it's got that sort of right level of sort of kookiness to it a bit as well. In terms of the change of... As soon as it mentioned lots of kids getting eaten, pop goes the weasel.
Playing the play the Fur Elise originally.
Very well done, and very well, I might say.
Everyone can play it. It's on every keyboard you'll ever find. So yeah.
I very much liked this week's. I thought it was a nice story. Had a nice emotional hook to it as well, which was good. We've clearly, as we've established, the vault is clearly our running curiosity of what's going to be.
Master.
And you and I both know.
How he got there, I don't know yet.
That's the other question as well, because it suggests, the fact we're both prisoners here, would suggest that he's been sentenced. I almost want to say, I don't know how exactly, because obviously the last time the Doctor saw Gallifrey and the Time Lords there in the Council, they didn't exactly part on good terms.
He's never been on good terms with them.
No, he never has been, but the point is...
and they've already exiled him to Earth once because of the budget cuts. I mean...
Yes. What it would suggest to it would almost feel like Master's been become prisoner on Earth in that vault, and the Doctor has been sentenced to be his jailer. It feels a bit like that. I have no idea if that is the case exactly, but it feels it's almost like that's the case. Or the Doctor's the Doctor's there as a prisoner of his own devising. Because we know he made an oath.
Just had one.
We still don't quite know why he made the oath in particular. What circumstances led him to make this said oath. Which I'm curious about. I'm sure we'll get there, probably, towards the end.
This is Stephen Moffat talking about. We may never know.
We'll know at some point. Might be Comic-Con, when he reveals it during an interview.
Interview when he tells us. Oh yeah, that thing.
So, the reason what I was going for was...
I forgot I was leaving after that, things get ahead of you and...
So what did you think of it then?
That's a serious roach infestation.
I like the designs for them. I like the designs for the Dryads. That's what the Doctor called them.
No, I'm thinking... No, I'm thinking Warcraft. I think the Dryads, which are half people, half deer. But,
Yes.
It's Warcraft, it's weird. Serious roach infestation. There wasn't a Scooby-Doo reference.
Was there?
There wasn't.
Well, there wasn't. No, you're right, there wasn't actually. We were expecting that.
I was expecting one, a bunch of kids in a haunted house. We need a dog. I liked the episode. It was a nice bit of tension. And David Suchet was incredibly creepy. Just appearing.
And that lovely smile, the smile just sort of flashed for a moment, and then it was just, that's a slightly creepy smile, David.
Yeah, just don't smile again, ever. Because it's just unsettling. You're making it worse by smiling. Never smile. And when he would sort of have sudden angry turns. One of the... I can't remember any of the teachers' names. They were all basically teenagers. Mentioned about the tower and he just suddenly turns very angry.
Yeah, so you're saying, when can we get to the tower? The tower isn't off limits or something like that.
Yeah. I liked him. I liked the first reveal of the first guy who got I can't remember any of their names.
Pavel.
Pavel, yeah, the first guy with him in the wall, that was creepy.
That was creepy, and his eyes as well.
Yes, the eyes.
Oh.
And then, I also want a tuning fork. I've always wanted a tuning fork.
What for?
I don't know, I'm just a whack. I collect odd little things.
Really, Sean? I had no idea that you collected all those knickknacks.
Yeah, that's just what I want a tuning fork. It's just something to have. But yeah, I like the episode. It was a nice, good, creepy, haunted house. Scary things go bump in the night.
What did you think of the twist?
It's a twist. I lack human emotions, as you know, to actually
Rubbish.
empathise with
Don't
it.
give me that. I've seen you cry.
I am a robot, and
Lies.
lies, you're a cyborg, get right.
Come on. What did you think of the twist? You have got a heart. I know you do.
I have two.
One's in a jar on the mantelpiece.
One's in my leg. Just in case you need it, and that situation ever arises. It's alright.
Is that all I'm getting for it?
Yeah, that's all I get out of me.
It's alright. A long drawn out.
A long day, and I'm incredibly tired.
I've worked 7.5 hours today.
But I don't do much most times. When I do something, it knackers me out. And it's been hot today.
Really, I had no idea.
I despise the heat. Which means tomorrow my hay fever kicking, so it kicks in the day after. It's nice weather. For some reason. It was sad. Although I don't want to know if that was makeup or CG for the wooden mum.
Makeup, I think.
I was like, I couldn't tell. I was like, is that makeup or CG?
It looked more like makeup than anything, because we've seen wooden type monsters before in Doctor Who. They had one actually incredibly similar in terms of the actual appearance.
Was her hair wooden? Or was it?
Yes, her hair was.
No.
We had a similar design, of course, with the wooden creatures in The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, that episode existed. I just
It does. Alexander Armstrong was in it.
I just remember that it actually existed. What with Bill Bailey in it?
Yes, briefly.
Very briefly. Well, more of him. And he's funny. It was a sad twist. It was an unexpected twist, although when you think about it, it makes more sense.
It does make more sense. At the
Because
same
how the
time,
hell
this whole
he
thing.
survived that long if he was father, unless he's found the fountain of youth or whatever.
Part of you was willing to go with it's aliens. They found some way to prolong his life, but then realised but they didn't with the daughter because she was ill, so it was a way of repairing her.
Did they do it?
They turned her into wood.
Yeah. There's probably a joke in there about women performance.
It wasn't
Well,
wooden. Her performance was very good.
I lack the skills to make that joke. But I liked the episode as a whole. It was nice and creepy and had a lot of disposable teenagers, which is the best use for teenagers in fiction, to make them disposable. And they brought them all back at the end.
So they didn't actually die.
No, because, for reasons.
That would have been a bit traumatic otherwise. For Bill.
Just seemed a bit too convenient.
It's what Doctor Who does occasionally.
It's more interesting when he doesn't have the ability just to go, Control Z. But yeah, I like the house. I mentioned the house. That was a cool house.
It was a very cool house.
I don't know what house it actually was. It might be a different one on the outside, the inside, they do that.
Yes, I imagine it will be. The external shots are usually very different than the internal. And even then, the tower was CG. You can see that in the...
Yeah, having to find a place, but I like the house. I want a big house. But then you realise it'd be redrafty, because unless you get the whole thing replaced, then it's not authentic, and you want that draft.
Might be a listed building.
Yeah, that as well. It's always irritating. So next week.
Next week looks very good. Very creepy
Lucas
again.
is actually doing something other than making tea.
It's nice. It'd be nice that when he comes out every now and again on
other
the
than
trips.
making tea or fiddling with whoever he's fiddling with on the door.
Looks creepy.
Remind me of Dead Space, but that's because you're in space.
And they're corpses.
And the corpses, yeah, if you have to kill them by dismembering them.
And they are creepy looking corpses on that as well.
Wasn't it the suits or something from the trailer? I know the trailer might be trying to
Yeah.
misguide you. The suits.
The suits are,
Go.
I think it's similar to the Vashta Narada thing in terms of the
They
suits.
should bring them back. You could do something wonderfully creepy with them.
Vashta Narada are brilliant characters as well.
You know, because the one library, they weren't really scary. Even the walking skeleton was kind of goofy. You know, the idea that the shadows kill you. You could do something. It's a great horror episode in that scary episode.
That's the whole thing. The reason the Vashta Narada can work around is because they have to inhabit the suit itself.
But you know, it kind of looked like now we're in a B movie. I know Doctor Who's effects have always been amazing. It wasn't really scary.
I think next week looks to be another creepy one.
Good, more creepy.
Particularly, they just it looks like Bill's dead.
If he's not.
No, but the last shot of the trailer suggests something's going to happen. At least it's going to get very close to it.
Another Control Z.
But I quite like it. It looks nice and scary. Again, it's the whole nature of they're trapped on a space station with zombies. It is very Dead Space, you're right.
Dead Space is not the first to do. You're trapped in space and you're alone. Well, it's not the first. Alien.
No, but I was going to say zombies though.
Technically zombies, so it gets complicated.
Yes, alright, I know, it's complicated.
And what version of zombies are we doing here? Are
week-
we doing pre-Romero zombies or Romero zombies? And
To be
even
fair-
after and post-Romero, zombies get incredibly complicated.
To be fair, even the things we're looking at next week aren't zombies. What's happening is that the suits are still operational, it's just they're dead bodies on the inside.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. Very good.
They might be
film.
trying to misguide us. They do that. They're deceptive.
Wait, who are deceptive?
People who put trailers together.
Right.
Which is rare because most trailers will tell you the entire plot in 2 minutes.
Those are film trailers.
I know.
And film trailers are much longer than TV trailers.
You don't need a long trailer. I'd bet a 30-second trailer would be more effective than a 2.5 minute long one. Not Doctor Whom. That's the really posh version.
Doctor Whom.
Whom.
Doctor Whom.
Oh, Doctor what? And Oxygen it's called.
What is?
Next episode.
That makes sense, the whole thing of how many breaths have you got left. Who's it written by?
Charles Palmer, who's done the first Martha Jones episode, the Shakespeare Code, the Human Nature / the Family of Blood.
Good episodes.
And the one later on, he does another one later on in the series called The Eaters of Light.
Eaters of Blood. Oh, that later this series.
Yeah, later this series.
Alright, I was going to say, has he not done any Doctor Who since Martha? Because those are all good episodes.
No, it goes from 2007 to 2017 in Doctor
Who. What's he done in between?
Various things. Some Marple, some Lark Rise to Candlefoot. Actually, they were before. Actually, no, they were during 2008. They were in between.
Yeah.
Done a few things. Let's go to IMDb and get the full filmography.
I was going to say, those are some good episodes. The Doctor Who
Family of
ones
Blood
are.
one was, although it wasn't.
The Family of Blood and Human Nature ones I quite liked. I did enjoy the Shakespeare Code one, and Smith and Jones was a nice opening. I quite like that because you liked it because it had the Jadoon.
I like the Jadoon. Yes, but all I can remember in.
Jadoon looked nice. Yeah, the Family of Blood one. That was a brilliant.
Yeah, well, that's an adaptation of an actual story.
It is. It's an
Family of Blood.
adaptation of Douglas Adams.
With, I believe, the Scarecrows coming from somewhere else.
Yes.
Well, it's the same story. I know there's a Doctor Who story out there with scarecrows that come to life. Other than that one, I can't remember. It's the book version of. I think it's a book, not a comic. I lose track. There's too much Doctor Who stuff.
Well, that'd be Douglas Adams. I know Douglas Adams did another adaptation of The
Did some
Doctor
good
Retires.
episodes. Douglas Adams. Or Doctor Who.
He did a book one, which is The Doctor Retires, which was the base for The Snowman, which was the one with the Great Intelligence with Ian McKellen as the voice.
Mm-hmm. Still didn't realise half of the episode went, is that Ian McKellen?
I drugged that very early on.
I'm like, it sounds like, but I like someone doing a kind of, generic, epic theatrical voice, and it might just sound like him.
No, it's Ian McKellen.
No,
Which
no,
means that there aren't many...
Which means Gandalf is canon to Doctor...
Yes.
Also Magneto is as well.
And Magneto. The other thing is, of course, in terms of the sort of great stage Shakespearean actors we always think of, Patrick Stewart's the only one who's not done Doctor Who yet.
But Captain Picard has appeared in comic books with Doctor Who.
But Patrick Stewart hasn't.
That's close enough. You can
Patrick Stewart hasn't had a role.
The voice in your head.
That's different, and you know it.
So it's the one with the Cybermen team up with the Borg.
Borg, yes.
That's a stupid story. I mean,
we haven't. Patrick Stewart has not appeared in an episode of Doctor Who.
Which is weird. You think he would?
Yet, give it time. I think he will. I remember in one of the an idea I had a while ago for one was him as Omega.
Captain Picard shows up with the USS Enterprise.
No, I want to have him as Omega.
Yeah.
That would be
just
cool.
did shout a lot. It's just,
yeah, true. Well, you don't have to do exactly as they did last time around. It's just the whole thing. It was a big net. I mean, to be fair, we've had Derek Jacobi as the master.
Would it be funny to have Patrick Stewart with the mask over his head the entire time? If you do Omega with the headpiece.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see his face, just his voice.
To be fair, we only got the voice of Ian McKellen.
They couldn't afford the actual to have him there.
No,
he has a pin Doctor Who. That thing they did with Mr. McCoy and the rest of the Doctors going around. Because you see, it cuts to one bit on set of The Hobbit. And they Mr. McCoy and Ian McKellen sitting there in costume and goes, who? That's the thing Paul McGann to Mr. McCoy did.
Oh, yes, the 5-ish Doctors.
Paul Peter Jackson, and he's just like, Mr. McCoy, who?
Yeah.
Just sitting there with his pipe. So Ian McKellen has been.
He has, although technically that's Ian McKellen as Ian McKellen.
Playing Ian McKellen, directed by Ian McKellen.
I don't think it was directed. No, it's directed by
Peter Jackson. He's also in it.
No, it's not directed by Peter Jackson.
Oh, it's
directed by Peter Davison.
Yes. Directing Peter Jackson. Yeah. Peter Jackson should do a Doctor Who episode. It'd be amazing.
He's asked. He said he would be more than happy to. He said he'd love to. The trouble is they've had the idea for it is they'd have to go all the way out to New Zealand because he's got such a busy schedule all the time. He wouldn't have the time to come out here to do it.
What's he doing now? The Hobbit films are finished.
I think they're working.
There must be more Tolkien books we can stretch as far as we can.
He's always working on a few. He's been working on a Dam Busters one for quite a while. Stephen Fry was supposed to be writing the script for it. I don't know quite what he's working on at the minute.
Well, listen to do the Peter Jackson hour.
Yes, I'm looking it up now. What's he working on now? No, not you. Oh, Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines.
It's the book series.
Yeah.
Here we are. Current and future projects. Here we are.
Live off the residuals.
He's also won the rights to a film adaptation of the fantasy novel series Temeraire, which is very good, and I do like that series.
But will the film be as good as the book? No, because they very rarely are. But
different. He was set to produce a remake of Dam Busters. He was going to be producing that. He wouldn't be directing it, but the filming, the project was postponed. In October 2016, he announced that that movie adaptation of the novel Mortal Engines would be his next project as producer and co-writer, alongside Fran Walsh and Philippa Bowens. Once again, the script will be directed by his longtime collaborator Christian Rivers, and the Tintin franchise apparently as well.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, but they were working. Yeah, here we are. In June 2016, because there were plans for a sequel at some point. June 2016, Spielberg, who I think was a producer on the original. He directed it rather.
He directed it, didn't he?
Yeah, Spielberg directed it. Jackson was one of the producers. Spielberg confirmed that the sequel was still in development, but Jackson was working on a secret project in the meantime.
Secret project.
Which might be Mortal Engines, given that there's a few months between the announcement type thing. Of course, it could be something we don't know about yet. We just don't know.
P. Jackson directing the life of Peter Jackson. It's funny if you see his films he did before Lord of the Rings, and you would never think he would direct Lord of the Rings, the films he made before.
Yeah, I'm just reading the style section on it. Is Jackson is known for his attention to detail, a habit of shooting scenes from many angles, a macabre sense of humour, and general playfulness, the latter to a point that the Lord of the Rings conceptual designer, Alan Lee, jokingly remarked, "The film is almost incidental, really."
They did some really quite gory films.
Oh yeah, it was all sort of B-movie horrors.
Yeah, you're like, you won't never peg him to do Lord of the Rings. And then it happened.
And he usually ends up as we've got cameos as well, the same way that Hitchcock used to as well. He's had them in a variety of roles.
Oh. He likes doing that. Right. Get BBC. I know you'll get all your funds cut, but go out to New Zealand.
It'd be wonderful to see.
Doctor Who visits the Shire.
They had that, didn't they? They had an episode with Peter Capaldi as the Doctor sort of walking in. I remember that. With speculation of has it actually happened? Have we actually had this confirmed? That we're actually getting.
I don't want a Doctor Who episode with sweeping shots of New Zealand.
That'd be beautiful if nothing else.
Just play Lord of the Rings music. Epic sweeping shots of. And then Andy Serkis can play Gollum in it. That'd get really weird.
You could have Andy Serkis direct part of it.
And he could be in it. He can play everyone. He would.
Yes, he would. You're right.
We've gone way off topic. From speculation to the Master in the Vault, down to Peter Jackson. Now we're in Andy Serkis.
It's all gone a bit mad.
It's all gone down the drain. It's all gone pear-shaped. I like pears.
I don't.
What's wrong with pears?
I don't like pears.
Oh, we haven't had a...
What?
Mum.
Mum said...
I
need to get this right because she actually listens to us now.
Don't want to get it wrong.
3 words.
Uh-oh.
Scary. Sad. Curious.
Natural voice did she say it?
Yeah, she actually said
curious.
It was the whole sort of uptone thing.
Okay, Mum, I'm going to hang up now.
I literally said, okay, speak with you next week, bye. Because I think of, right, that's it. Mum's summary, as we've always said.
It's always more effective.
She boils it down. She's boiled it down to 3 words.
Yeah.
This week. Next week.
It would just be a sound of...
It would be...
Done.
That'd be it.
We
spent half an hour talking about it.
About Andy Serkis and Peter Jackson, and we go off on our tangents. But yeah, I like the episode.
I do. But again, we haven't had a bad episode yet this series. And neither than that...
Don't say that!
Alright. We haven't had a weak episode either, though.
No, I wouldn't
It's
agree.
been fairly level. All the episodes have been quite good. I've not had one where I've thought...
I wouldn't say any of them have been brilliant.
No, fair enough. No, they've had moments of brilliance, but the episodes themselves haven't... We haven't had a standout episode, you're right.
Yet.
There's
we may get one. May not, but we may get one.
There's always one that's always a standout, and there's always one that's usually subpar.
I suspect it will be the last one with the Cybermen.
Yes, I have high hopes of that one, because the Cybermen are my favourite villains, and it's Mondasian Cybermen with the terrifying cloth faces.
And the really cheap costumes. That's why they're being brought back, because BBC budget cuts have been like, oh shit, we have to...
I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with them. There's a lot with the series generally. I'm curious to see what they're doing with. Generally, in terms of that regeneration scene, are we actually seeing the next Doctor appear or
We're still not confirmed when he's regenerating.
No. Well, yes and no. The BBC...
People keep saying different things.
The reason we'll get different things are because the official news is he's regenerating at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's the rumours that are saying otherwise.
We saw him start to regenerate.
We saw him start to.
Now that Pete Davison, David Tennant, although they are related, did pull that regeneration on. Well,
he
not
did.
Not regeneration.
Yeah, well, he did regenerate by regenerating into himself.
Yes.
And there are those people who think it might be some people. I've seen online speculation, obviously, about all this, which is nothing but fan theory, saying it could be exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of things to do with that on my various Doctor Who fan things I follow on Facebook and that kind of things, of that regeneration thing, and then it's another shot of David Tennant very smiling, going, hello there, and things like that, and obviously you get the whole thing of, yes, bring him back, please, no. I like David Tennant. David Tennant's a fantastic actor.
I like David Tennant, I just dislike the fangirls.
Yeah, it's the whole thing of let him rest.
Yeah, let him do whatever he's doing.
He's moved on to do other great, wonderful things, and I know he loves Doctor Who with an absolute passion. He is a fanboy in the same way that Capaldi was.
He came back for the 50th.
Yes, he came back for the 50th. We had a nice... I like David Tennant. At the same time, it's the thing of... Ironically, for a programme which hinges on the fact that its principal character changes... Doctor Who fans are some of the most stubborn conservative with a small c in terms of...
They're just fans.
We don't like
fans
change.
Don't like anything that changes.
No, which is quite ironic given the premise of the
different.
show.
No! Anything.
You must agree there's a certain amount of irony given it's one of the principal concepts of the main
People
character.
get attached to these things.
Oh, I can understand that.
You could argue too attached, but they get attached to these things. And,
I can understand
especially if they're... You know, same thing with Tom Baker, and they've attended it for a while. When they're a doctor for a long time, there are some people who've only ever known that, and it's
difficult for you to think of anyone else in the role.
I still think of Tom Baker as a doctor.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even alive when he was on TV.
No, you weren't.
You know, Tom Baker. Hell, John Pertwee's great as a doctor.
John
Pertwee, if you can find any
John
of the
Pertwee
episodes.
is the doctor.
Huh?
For my mum, John Pertwee was my mum's
mum
doctor.
is John Pertwee / Tom Baker. She's
no,
not watching me.
Mum wasn't so keen on Tom Baker. Mum she might. Mum, please feel free to correct me on this.
Next week we'll hear the response to that. Go, he was wrong. Well, your mum's not the queen.
No, you've met my mum. My mum is not the queen.
I said like 5 words to your mum. It was a very brief meeting.
It was a very brief meeting. You were in your dressing gown going up the stairs, very unhappy after because of you hadn't had a coffee.
This is starting to sound weird now. Someone's never. Why was he in this? What's going on here?
Sean and I lived together for a year.
That makes it worse.
No,
John
Pertwee was my mum's doctor.
Like, anyway, I'm getting on your mum now. We're talking about your mum now. Anyway,
yes,
but yeah, back to Doctor Who fans being whiny, or as I call it, any fan of everything gets whiny.
All fans get attached to things. It's the whole nature of, like, as I always get very upset when a doctor goes. Because it's emotional, this whole thing of this character...
That was incredibly melodramatic.
What was?
10. It's a generation.
Yeah, I always still get upset.
And drawn out. And I'm like...
I still get upset, regardless of the nature of the departure. The whole thing of it... We all love the character. And when it's a different actor playing it, it is, although they are the Doctor, they are a completely different character. And at the same time, it's the whole thing of, well, you know who the character is and you know you're going to like that. You assume, you work on the premise that you're going to like them. Sometimes, but as with any type of role, there are those people who say, I don't like what they've done with it, it's not the same anymore, and it turns them away.
Describe Twitter in a nutshell. This new Doctor's crap, or Facebook, or any forum about anything.
I've got friends of the family. Friends of the family who don't like Peter. They didn't particularly like Matt Smith in a lot of his episodes.
It took a while to get going.
They never really warmed to him. They don't like Capaldi. No, last time I saw them, they didn't think much of Peter Capaldi at all. They like him as an actor because it's him and other stuff. They don't like him as the Doctor. So it's the nature of all people. Some people don't like some of them. Sometimes it comes from a certain starting point. If we go for the fangirl type thing, the cliche thing that we talk about is, of course, it's the whole thing of it's because they have a crush on the actor more than anything else. The idea of a lot of people went away from Peter Capaldi was because he's much older, and therefore he's not as attractive.
Well, that's just ageist.
That is incredibly ageist. It's an issue that Sean and I take very seriously.
As a senior citizen, I take that with...
As people who on the inside are
I have a pipe. 60s. I have a pipe. I am a class as senior citizen now. And my inner mind was born in the 1940s. So that's why whenever you... No, that's an incredibly bad joke. I was making a bad joke, but it's an incredibly bad joke.
I'm glad you stopped yourself.
I'll tell you when we're not recording.
Okay.
I was joking about that. So that's why you have a record player and collect World War II memorabilia. Like you do that. But you are interested in wars a lot.
I'm interested in military history. I'm interested in history generally, though. It's not just military history.
It's not just that. It's other stuff. No.
Can I just quickly say, saying you're born in the 40s doesn't mean suddenly, you love the... We were born in the 90s.
And
Last time I checked,
great
we suddenly
shame. That is a great shame.
It is, but that doesn't mean
I
suddenly-
remember the Pokemons and the Yu-Gi-Ohs and the what other crap, Digimons. I don't know what else came out in the 90s as a kid.
You're trying to think of it and then say it in a very old way, like you don't understand it. It was a thing that was around, but you were never into it.
I was into Pokemon.
Yeah, I know, but the way you said it, your Pokemons and your
Digimon, not so
Digimons
much. I watched the anime, but that was
and your
about
Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like trying to go with
Yu-Gi-Oh!
your
I
face
never
tube
got.
and your U-book.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I never got as a game.
As a game, I never quite had it. I
Didn't get it.
I bought a lot of the cards.
To be fair, I have only recently found out how to play the Pokemon trading card game. I actually looked up the rules to play that.
Is that any good?
It's a trading card game.
Fair enough.
But that's what the energy cards are for. I've always wondered. There's a lot of coin flipping as well in Pokemon trading card. Everything's
Yes.
a coin flip. Sometimes multiple times. Like, flip the coin 3 times. We're going to be here a while.
We've gone off topic again.
We didn't start on topic.
We start.
We're mumbling in. Wrap it up.
Right.
Good episode.
Good episode.
Good tension. Sad ending. Interest. More scary next week in space.
So, to summarise, 3 words.
This will be another 10-minute long talk now.
So, to summarise, 3 words. Scary, sad, curious.
Someone's mildly threatening.
That's my mum.
It's curious. And I'll see you in your dreams.
Curious.
She just
curious.
slides out the room without like moving.
She can read minds.
All mums can read minds. It's a mum.
She can read mine. I still remember the episode of Doctor Who, the first one with the fez.
Yes.
And it's literally the moment where River says, "What are the name of all sanity? If you've got on your head, it's a fez. I wear a fez now. Fezzes are cool." I turned to my mum, opened my mouth to speak. Not a word had passed my lips yet. Mum, at the same moment, had turned around to me and just went, "No," before I said a word.
I do it to my mum when she's about to make a bad joke. No. If there's any bad jokes in this house, I make them. I have the sense of humour to make a bad joke.
Anyway, join us next week for our thoughts
Possibly.
on...
Possibly.
What do you mean, possibly?
You might be grounded.
I'm not going to be grounded. 25. I don't live at home.
It's just one. She'll still ground you. She's your mum. She never stops being your mum.
I know she never stops being my mum, and I'm very proud that she never stops being my mum.
It's just like, this goes up low, like 10 minutes later, your phone starts ringing. Uh-oh. Hi, Mum!
Hi, Mum. How are you?
Just hear very angry breathing on the other side. Bad day? Oh dear, we're both
Anyway, hopefully you'll be able to join us next
If he
week
hasn't
for
been given a
our
stern talking
thoughts
to
on oxygen.
oxygen. I like oxygen, it helps me breathe.
I agree. Well, there you go. You've already had our thoughts on
Done!
it.
It will be a good episode.